inspection, reference material producers, medical testing, and proficiency testing, something like that. Ballast water management system testing facility at Kiosk is one example of a standard laboratory at Kiosk. As you know, we believe that ballast water is the main factor of marine organisms' migration from A to B. So many marine ecosystems have been disturbed by unexpected invasive species. So marine organization, International Maritime Organization, IMO, has urged the use of ballast water management system to kill almost all the organisms in the ballast water tank as long as possible before the ship discharge the ballast water to the offshore of other countries. For type approval of newly developed ballast water management system, an independent laboratory has assigned by the government according to the IMO rule, I mean the Korean government, and US Coastal Guard, USCG, under its own regulation. A kiosk has a facility, something like this, the photo, I mean, engaged in this mission. And I am partly involved in this testing facility in quality control sector. This facility is supervised and investigated by COLAS and USCG once in every 2 years in the aspect of general management, and once in every 3 years for proficiency tests. Here are the standard services under the control of COLAS. It will not so much different from other nations, I think. First, calibration laboratory. It is for keeping degree of precision and accuracy of measuring instruments. For instance, the micropipettes in the laboratory should be should calibrate periodically, and the chemical balance should be the same. Second, testing laboratory. It is to test certain technical procedures for investigating of certain products or processes and services. BWMS, Ballast Water Management System Testing Center at Kiosk, is the case of the testing laboratory. It can be classified with mechanical testing, chemical testing, electrical testing, heat and temperature testing, and non-destructive testing for construction, acoustic and vibration testing, optical testing, biological testing, forensic testing, and finally, and the last one, GLP testing, good laboratory process testing for the risk and safety evaluation of chemicals, medicine, cosmetics sometimes, something like that. The third one, inspection laboratory. is for judging the suitability of design of products, services, process, and facilities. And it is classified with industrial facilities, machines, industrial products. Next one, please. Materials and parts, foods and agro fisheries product, construction and civil engineering, and blah blah. Uh, this testing, this inspection is based on blueprint, not the real side or something like that. Next one, reference material producers. It is the matter of standard materials for calibrating and testing or some or whatever else. We have we have some description of 1 grams or 1 kilograms or 1 degrees and whatever. So 1 centimeters or 1 millimeters or something. A POLAS designates the producers of these kinds of standard material producers of after some investigation. The next one is medical testing laboratory. It includes something like this: hematology, molecular genetics, cytogenetics, and something like that. And most of general hospitals have these kinds of laboratories to diagnose their patients. Proficiency testing provider, it carries out the approval or renew the status of calibrating, testing, inspection in medical laboratories by measurement, comparison, or interlaboratory testing scheme. It assigned by the COLAS. It is an independent agency testing the standard laboratory instead of COLAS. Here are some potential or example of standard laboratories in marine science. First, calibration of measuring instruments. We have many measuring instruments for oceanographic studies. And second, evaluation of contaminant in fisheries for our health. Safe control of feed stocks for fishes. It's also for our health or the fish or health of shellfish or fish. Control of harmful anti-fouling systems of ships or many of construction on the sea or in the sea, something like that. Offshore pollutant monitoring and altering, harmful algal bloom monitoring and altering, production and accumulation of oceanographic data. We have been producing thousands or millions of oceanographic data, and we accumulate it in a computer or something, but it should be standardized for the scientific analysis or something. Okay, let's move on to conventional laboratory instead of the standard one. First is lab safety. Lab safety is an important thing because It is a matter of our health, indeed. Now, we are obliged to complete safety and healthcare education each quarter, 4 times a year. The education programs are provided online in Korea. Uh, the education program include programs includes measures, regulations, and rules related to safety, not only the lab, but also the working place, uh, toxic effects of chemicals, gas, and so on uh, to human and environment, and has checked off the importance of early and periodical diagnosis is highlighted. Protective equipment, goggles, and lab coats, gloves, and shoes, whatever else, and how do we use them, and how we should cope with this. Cope with the accidents under the fire, toxic gas leaking, and toxic chemical leaking, and so on. Here I put some photos in the my presentation material. The first one, chemical cabinet. All of it is in my, all of them are in my laboratory. All the chemicals should be stored in the cabinet, which almost isolated from the air. Second was the safety shower in the aisle. You can use this to put out a fire from your clothes, or clean something, some toxic chemicals from your skin or clothes. Air intake. You should use this one when you work with volatile chemical. A fire extinguisher. Every laboratory has to equip with this one. Last one is slogan of the safety, laboratory safety, I mean. It depicts 10 commandments for the safety. Next, please. This photo is an example of lab safety checklists, daily checklists. It consists with a general safety part, fire safety, electrical safety, chemical safety, gas safety, and biological safety, and machine and equipment safety. You should check these items, all of these items, every in the morning, and mark on the sheet, okay or not. If you find something wrong, you should tell about it to lab leaders or the officers who is in charge of laboratory safety in the administration part. Living modified organism, a GMO, or a genetically modified organism. We normally use bacteria which are genetically modified for cloning genes or protein expression. And those laboratories are classified as level 1 laboratory. they are under very low level of regulation. Some labs work with kinds of mutants to understand for research the for understanding the functional aspect of genes or proteins or um, biological materials in the body. These labs should be under more higher level of regulation. And all the laboratories in Korea which work with LMO should be registered to the government, and the members of the lab have to get LMO education once a year uh, about laws, measures, and regulations, policy of LMO of the government, in general aspects. And we should leave documents when we need to send the LMO to outside of Korea or get the LMO from out from the outside of the Korea and so on. So strictly regulated. Security. Uh, we need to complete security education twice a year. The educational contents are technology leakage, industrial spying, laws and penalty, and so on. During the education, it showed example of these subjects. It warned certain kinds of your behavior can be directly or indirectly linked to leakage of information, spying. If that is the case, you will be accused by the university or institute or the company. From now, I prepare a photo album of the representative equipment for marine science research on vessel. Uh, in the case of the flagship of Kiosk, the research vessel Isabu, and conventional laboratories in case of my laboratory, the machines and gadgets or equipment. Uh, I don't want to go into the detail of each photos, and hope you note these examples for the conventional laboratory for marine biotechnology research. Okay, now uh, I will I will stop here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much, Professor Sung Sikyum. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading to discussion session. I think several questions are arises on the chat room, and maybe Bima can help me to show the Google document. You are already collect the question.
Inspection has in regard to your health in the in the hospital or hospital related diagnosing laboratory or something like that. Next one, how to examine HIV potential also with research person or another situation. Oh, okay. At the moment, research sampling the water every month or 2 times a month and check the number of microalgae under the microscopy is uh, significant. But recently, sorry, but for ordinary, for the ordinary person using use the microscope and check the microalgae is difficult because they are not trained person, not a scientist. I mean, so recently I have developed this kind of. Can you see this one?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, this kind of antibody-based rapid kit. The principle is completely same to get a pregnancy test kit for checking the microalgae in the water, in the seawater. And also I developed this kind of gadget for digitalize the analog analog signal of this chip, rapid chip. And next one, another instrument, daily sampling. Another instrument in charge for daily sampling. For daily sampling, it's a very difficult, but some guys are trying to develop some non-human organized facility or something, just a robot like sampler. I mean, but it will take some more time to generalize to the field. Next one, I just wonder, partner involved in research. How to get involved in research on board and what kinds of possible research topics. If you are involved in a research project related to the cruise oceanographic project or the biodiversity project for Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean, you can onboard and do some research with the other researchers. And what kinds of possible research topics? Now this research vessel they are involved in many kinds of research projects. First, finding the underwater resources, something like magnesium or manganese or the lithium or something like that. Geological resources, I mean. And find some the research of biodiversity in Indian Ocean and some of the what is it, the hypothermal vent around the hypothermal vent. And next one, I just wonder if there is a program where we can get donation equipment that is no longer needed. I have no idea with this uh, this question, but I will contact to the guys in administration part, uh, and ask to if these are possible, send some equipment or machines to the Indonesia. You are not using them after we change the new model or something. Okay. LMO, laboratory work more. When you work with the bacteria or LMO, you should to do everything in for instance, inoculation and spreading the bacteria to the agar plate or selecting a specific bacteria or something. You should do that work in clean bench, and you have to sterilize all the garbage, faucet, and something like that with autoclave, and all the bacteria after use should be killed or sterilized, as same as the other garbage, faucet or scissors or something like that. Okay.
Okay, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no questions anymore, I'm going to end the session. On behalf of the committee, I would like to say thank you to all of you, the participants, for your enthusiasm on this training. Also, do not forget to follow the next agenda of 3-in-1 program from the Marine Science Study Program, Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science. The more detailed information will be announced by organizing committee later. Thank you, everyone. I give it back to Dika as an MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Setiawan Samsurijal, SSE MSc, as the moderator. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and see you on our next training program, Writing Scientific Article and Article Review, on October 15, 2020.